What's up, everybody? Big Herc 916, and you tune into a military talk. Yeah, I know you guys thought it was gonna be prison talk, but this is military talk with my friend Bernard, retired naval guy, and he got some stories for us, man. Bernard, you know, our audience, they like to hear a lot of the exploits about cheek busting and all that crazy stuff, man. That's just the type of audience we have. So I want to get into some of the stuff like, you know, you've came across or witnessed while you were in the military in regards to like either being stationed abroad or, you know, on base here in the States. You know, what are some of the things that you've seen that would be like, damn, this is some shit like, you know, you would think about being on my fans only or something like that, man.
All right, here's what, it's a long story, but here we go. This was when I was stationed in Pittsburgh. We had another young guy, and we had this other guy. He was from Mississippi. He'd always come to my desk. You know, he got this funny accent. Like, Humbles, I know you be on that fling.com knocking them down. And the little young guy, I always like look at him. You can see him like looking out the corner of his eye, like what's going on over here. So come to find out, he wound up using that. Like the little young guy, he wound up using the website. He met a girl off there, right? So everybody was cool. So we would all go out together, and every time we would go out to go somewhere, she would lose her. She couldn't find her ID. Come to find out, she was underage. Like when they all came out, he went someplace where the guy at the door knew her. So the guy told her like she's underage. So the next day he comes in crying, right? Like, my girlfriend's underage, and this and that. So I'm just like,
oh, he's some R. Kelly shit.
He didn't know this. He met her on a website where she should have been of age.
Wow.
But at this time they're dating. He met the mom. He was in with the mom. So the mom knew.
The mom didn't say nothing?
No, the mom, like, because he taking care of them. But the mom knew, so the mom didn't say nothing. So that happens. So he's like, yeah, I'm breaking up with her. It's over. I'm a new man. Like, get a week later, they back together. So as things progress between them, she continues to like do stuff. One day, we're at the gym. He comes to me, Humbles, man. Old girl says she's pregnant. So this is when I was on Facebook. I reach out to her. I'm like, quit playing games. This needs to stop. This is becoming too much. He ain't built like that. He's not that type of guy. A week later, he comes to me. She had a miscarriage, man. I never told him.
Oh, that you got out?
I never told him that I did that. I was like, that's cool. So after that, she continues to reach out. So I was just like, man, trying to reach out, it's not working. So I devised this plan, right? So me and the guy from Mississippi, I'm like, all right, we're gonna get her to come to the building, and I'm gonna come in there and take a picture, y'all. I'm gonna send it to him. I'm like, look what your girl's doing after hours. So I wait 10 minutes. Door closed. So I, slowly open the door. I go in there. All you can hear is. Listen.
Oh, he's busting her out?
Yeah, that was not the plan. It was like in my head. Wow, so I was just like.
Oh.
So I sneak back out. So the next day, I'm like, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, man. What the F, man? Like, what were you doing? His response was, the flesh is weak, man. That was his response to the whole story.
So he busted her down too?
Yeah.
God.
Man, I'm like, what are you doing, man? The flesh is weak, man. Like, he put his head down. He was embarrassed. He was just like, the flesh is weak, man.
Oh. So what happened after that then? Because now he caught up with the bro.
So, no, that was just the one-time thing with him. She still continued to be with the boy. So she wound up wrecking old boy's car. He wound up getting him put on probation. He had to get out the Navy because he got put on probation because he put hands on her because it was too much.
Oh, wow.
Another time he came to me and was like, Humbles, man. And I'm gonna say this is not to be funny, I'm with rape and stuff. He's like, I think my girl got raped yesterday by 11 guys. I'm like, nah, man, that probably was a train. Because she was living with him. He said he came home, was like 11 guys in the house.
11 guys in the house?
This girl was running like she was doing mental gymnastics on this young guy
Wow.
like he ain't never seen, man.
Damn.
Like,
Yeah,
he
that
shot
was a
11
train.
guys. And I even said like the next after I was like, man, why wasn't this reported? I was like, I'm telling you, man, that was a train, man. Like, yeah, this little girl was out there, man. Like,
Damn.
Yeah,
She wasn't no joke.
yeah, she was from the projects, little WW, but she was running laps around this guy.
And he was still whipped on it.
Yeah. Even to the time when I was getting ready to transfer, he came and apologized. I'm sorry, Humbles. I should have listened to you. You know, you knew what you was talking about. You know, she had me in a fog and this and that. Like, yeah, she ruined his Navy career. Like,
Damn.
yeah, he had to get out because if you get probation, you can't leave the state.
Oh, wow.
Like, his probation, yeah, he couldn't leave the state.
Oh, that's right, because it's state, yeah.
And they weren't going to cut him no slack because he was in the Navy. So he had to get out.
Damn, all over some ass.
And when I had looked him up at one time when I was on Facebook, he was working like at Rent Center and stuff. So his story,
Rent Center, from military to Rent Center.
yeah, it didn't end well with him. Young guy, like quiet too, all because old boy came talking about Fling.com.
Fling.com took this brother down.
Took him down, man. Took him down.
Now, what about like women in the military, man? I mean, you know, is there a lot of freakiness going on with the women? Because I know my one dude said he used to work in the medical field, so he said, dude, they'd come through the air and he'd be like, man, he'd be busting them down.
Definitely. So I knew this one lady who was she was an officer. She was 05, but she was previously, like I said before, enlisted. But she's 6 foot tall. She's white, but likes black guys. So in the officer ranks, there's not too many black men. So the only people who think about like, who's she gonna date?
Yeah.
Like, so she dated a lot of enlisted. So that was like that's her
6
story.
foot, she's a stallion.
Yeah, tall white WW. So you see a lot as far as like on the women's side. It seemed like from pointing to my first duty station, we had my supervisor. When we went to Puerto Rico. Back then, once we landed, they had a case. They had a big cooler of beer. So the whole she like approaches me, humbles. You talk all that smack and all, like all up on me. Like I'm like, you need to step back. Like it's not happening. The reason why, not to say I didn't want to. The reason why is she would joke about having herpes in the office.
Oh.
She had it. Like
Oh.
her and this other girl, they thought it was funny. They thought that was funny, talking about that. But while we was there, she was getting loose. While we was in Puerto Rico, she was getting loose.
Damn.
Getting loose, yeah.
But you knew, you was like, I'm cool.
Yeah, I knew, yeah. So I was just like, you need to back up off me. Yeah, she thought that was funny. Like that was the funniest thing, like to joke about her. Like, oh, this herpes is killing me. Like,
Oh, shit.
in the office, yeah.
Damn.
Talking
And,
like
and
that.
dudes knew and they were still trying to get with it?
I don't know if they knew.
Oh, shit.
I don't know if they knew.
Oh, man. Because that could come back really bad when a dude finds out that he done got that from her and, she's reckless with that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So when I was at Wanimi, I was taking this communication class. I met this brother. I didn't notice the whole time. I thought he was a black guy because he always kept a bald head. He was from Belize. I used to be like, man, why don't you grow your hair? I was like, man, if I grow my hair, I look like a white guy. But there was this girl she was stationed at Wanimi, and I hooked him up. And, he went over there. He's like, they were going to hook up. He said, but right before things went down, she told him, like, look, I got herpes. And he was like, no go. He was like, I'm glad she told me because he was going to go in there.
God.
Yeah. She told him like right before, and he's like, he shut it down. He didn't do nothing.
Yeah, because once you, that's for the rest of your life.
Yeah. That's baggage. Yeah.
Ooh. Now, have you been deployed overseas, like internationally, and had the opportunity to be exposed to how the women are with military guys? Because I've heard stories. Like I had a friend of mine, I remember an older dude told me he was in the Air Force. He said he went to Australia. He said he almost went AWOL. He said because they were giving him so much ass over there. He said that shit was like it was a smorgasbord over there.
So we went to Thailand. We stayed there for a few days.
Oh my.
So Pattaya, Thailand. So I don't know if y'all heard anything about Thailand at all, but pretty much all the women there, pretty much prostitutes.
Everybody.
That's just the way they make a living.
Yeah.
So, but we're over there. This one girl attacks my boy like all over him. He has to like rip off him. He's running down the street. And she's like running after him.
Oh,
but the craziest
shit.
thing, they treat you like you're like a rock star. They're grabbing at you, sexy black man, soul brother. So they're pulling at you. They're just trying to pull at you because the way it works is it's basically like you're going down the street and there's all these different bars. They're grabbing you, trying to pull you to their bar and this and that. But the story don't stop there. So one of the guys that was with us took her back to the hotel. So they have to register something like with the city they're in, whatever. And when we're going back, he's coming back. I'm like, man, that was quick, man. What's up? He's like, man, they won't let her in. I'm like, why not? She's underage. I'm like, oh, okay. So you about to just walk and just come back? He's like, nah, man. I'm like, so what you about to do? He's like, I done worse, man. Just kept walking.
Oh,
See, he was on a mission, man. And that mission wasn't ending because they said she was underage. He was on a mission. He was just like, I done worse, man. That was his response. I was just like, but me and him really didn't get along. But yeah, I lost all respect for that dude after that, man. But
so you can see why people, because I know a lot of guys come on vacation in Thailand, they over there, and it's just everything.
If I'm not, like the money, the currency even back then was like maybe like $1 was like 30 baht. 30 baht is a lot of money to them.
30 baht.
Yeah.
$1.
Yeah.
So what did they charge them? What dude? How much baht?
I don't know. I can't even remember.
Wow.
Yeah. They probably was like nothing to, because how much? I think the way it works, when you took out money, it's automatic 3,000 baht. If I'm not mistaken, when you would go to ATM, automatically you get 3,000 baht, from the ATM. So 3,000 maybe been like $30. But that's 3,000. That's a grip to them. Like, but yeah, it was.
Yeah, cause I've heard stories about Thailand. I was seeing they had a brother on there and they, BBC, and he walking like the females over there are on him. And I heard it's the same way in the Philippines because I used to see a lot of brothers get caught up, with these little young Filipino wives. And like Filipino, you go over there, you're in the military. They're like, their goal is to hook them an American man.
Yep.
If they can get an American man, it's like, dude. And then they bring the mom back, the grandma back, and everybody becomes, comes back.
Yeah, definitely. You see that a lot.
Now, do you have any experiences like of like any bases like in Europe? Because I know a dude was telling me too. He said Germany, man. He said them Germans over there, and you're American. He said he was killing it over there too.
I've been to Germany. I got family in Germany, but as far as being stationed there, I don't.
Okay.
Like when we went, we stayed there maybe like a night or two, but I had family come out, hung out with them. Yeah, so as far as Germany, Europe, no. But when I was in Iraq, most deployments like no sex. But when I was in Iraq, they couldn't manage that because there were civilians there with us. So there was condom stations all over the place.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and another thing they said it was a sex ring. I never ran in, basically like prostitutes there. I mean, I kind of know who were probably the ones doing it. We had a little contingent from like Kenya, those ladies. I think that's who it was, but I never ran into none of that.
Yeah, how they handle that? Because I know Iraq with the religious thing and how that was interacting with American. How were guys taking care of their sexual needs over there, man?
Well, like I said, it wasn't frowned upon. It was okay.
With Iraqi women or
some of them were Yeah, we did have some Iraqi women there. Point intended. My job over there, I was a linguistics program manager, so I was in charge of all the Terps. We had this one. She was pretty. She was new, pretty Iraqi woman. Had this one guy from the Air Force. Come on, man, please let her come to my. Did all this begging. 1 week, she filed sexual harassment charges.
Wow.
I went off on him, man. I went off on the dude. Like 1 week. Like, come on. He's like, no, it was just a misunderstanding. Like, you couldn't. 1 week. 1 week. You couldn't last that long.
Wow. Now, were there situations where, like the Iraqi women, were any of them trying to really hook up with American men? Because I know I had seen where,
Yeah,
like, where in some of them countries where the women try to catch an American, especially in Pakistan, to get the hell up out of there. And they're like got prearranged situations, and it's all bad because they come back. They're subject to be what they call honor killings by their family.
So where we were at, the Iraqi women that were there were from the States already.
Okay.
So there was an area 4 where those were local nationals. So those people were local. So most of the time, you didn't deal with those people over there.
Oh, they kept it separate.
Yeah, kept it separate.
Okay.
But a lot of times over there, only a few of us left outside the wire. So a lot of people, you're just in one place at one time.
So when you're in that kind of confined environment and you see the same, people all the time, is there within that, do those women that you said would maybe be not as attractive start looking attractive for?
Oh, definitely. Like the one thing I sent you, definitely you see a woman go from she's nothing, but she becomes a dime by the end of deployment. It happens all the time. Like I told you, the one girl, she was horrible looking, but new meat, end of deployment, happens all the time. It's just.
So then at the point, she started looking hot.
Yes.
They call it, in prison, they call it prison fine. Where on the street, don't nobody even look at her in prison and put her panties on her head, Yeah.
One time they sent me 2 weeks. I had to fly up northern Iraq, and I would be out there running every day early because if you don't, it's gonna get too hot. I seen this one girl. I'm like, okay, she's like, okay. She from a distance. I get up like, ooh. I was just like, ooh, no.
Was she smiling?
Yeah, she was smiling. And I was like, ooh.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
But that was cool. I got like 2 weeks. I was working with the Swedish Special Forces. So those guys were cool. Did the same thing. They loved my stories. That's all I would do. If I went to work, come in there and tell some stories, and I'll just leave.
So you guys just all kicked the shit? So when you were over in Iraq, were there a lot of different countries as far as military that would be interacting with the Americans? Or?
Yeah, it was pretty much every country we had there. So even with my job, like I said, I had to get Terps for all these different countries. Like sometimes I would even have to the Canadians, we had a Canadian suit, they were up in northern Iraq, they called me, we need a Terp. I reached out to another unit that was close to them, was able to get a Terp over to them. So yeah, it was a lot of that. Even Iraqis, they would eat with us. You would see them in the galley and stuff like that. They're military.
And what do you mean by Terp?
Interpreter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So with like a lot of that diversity, I mean, I know people over here, they don't really understand because all you see is what's on the news. Mm-hmm. Was it a lot different than what people would expect? You being, Black American over in Iraq, interacting with all these different cultures. Did you notice anything different as far as in the culture and how you were received over there compared to how you'd be interpreted as far as here in the States? Was it because they don't have the same, here a lot of the racial stuff and this and that. I mean, it's a different society over there. So how was their interaction?
I would say it seems like a different society, but we would get these pamphlets and stuff like that. So that was when 44 was president, and some of the stuff they would put on there, you wouldn't expect that, drawing him as a monkey, saying all this stuff
What?
Yeah, I didn't think it was gonna be like that, but one thing I will say, the women over there, some of them really, only talk to the white guys and stuff like that. So yes, I did feel like they kind of
Do you think that's because of how they thought Black Americans were?
Yes, definitely, because
Okay.
I had a conversation with the one girl, and she had all these assumptions. But what opened up the line, with me dealing with a lot of them, is when I took over the job as a project manager for the linguistic program manager. I got a call from the embassy where they were like, that's one officer said, I need to talk to you. It's not a bad thing. I'm like, okay, so we'll be over there this weekend. But they came, they were like, we need you to take over as the linguistic program manager for the country. I'm like, okay. He's like, we like the work you're doing. We'll get you help, anything you need. You hit me up, and that was that. So once they found out about that, a lot of them were like real nice to me at that point. Like to that point, it was like I was a nobody, but at that point, hey, how's it going? Hi.
Status changed.
Yeah, even like the guys, like there was this one guy. This guy was loony. He would come out of office, wanted to chit chat. Like I'm trying to work. All he wanted to do was talk. But he was loony. We wound up getting him fired because like he worked for the French. No, Spanish. He shows up to. They were supposed to go to some meeting, high level meeting, flip flops and jean shorts. So they were like,
shorts.
Yeah, he's supposed to have been dressed up. They were like, we don't want this guy. Get rid of him. But we told him. So the way it worked, I was sort of like the manager, like HR. So I would just move him around. But there was a representative for the company that hired them. So we figured we'll try to send him to. We had this outstation that got bombed, and they shut it down, and they were recently opening it back up. So me and him were like, we're going to tell him we're going to send him here. If he doesn't go, then I'll put in the paperwork to fire him. I'm like, all right. So we sat down and talked with him, and told him that was the case. He was going to this outstation, and he was like, he refused, and so the guy was like, resign. So he right then there he put a sticky note. I resign.
You get rid of his ass real quick, huh?
Yeah, he did not want to go to that outstation. Nobody wanted that outstation. It was known for being bombed and stuff like that.
Oh, so nobody trying to go.
Nobody wanted to go there.
Oh, that's basically like they don't like you. We're gonna send you over there. It's crazy, man, that you say that even overseas, how people treat you differently once they find out your status, which is, kind of symbolic here because I've been places and people assume one thing, and then when they start hearing you talk, they're like, "Man, where are you from?" I remember a lady said, "Oh, are you African?" I said, "No, I'm born in Sacramento." Mm-hmm. She said, "You look like this tribe, this guy." And I'm sitting there looking at her, and I don't know if she thinks she's like, it's almost like insulting to think that like if you're, a certain Black American, you talk a certain way, you can't be intellectually in your conversation. And then when people find out you've done all these other things, they look at you differently, and now they're like, "Hey, no, are you cool? Now you cool because you got a job with staff. So you're not just a regular Negro. You're an intellectual Negro,
Yeah.
So I know, like when you would go to meet different people and they would find out your title, did them after, having seen or heard about your title, did that whole dynamic change? Like, hey man, let's hang out or trying to be cool with you?
Yep, definitely. Yeah. Even like, there was a time where I worked a job where I did pay, and you would get people trying to be like buddy.
Yeah, the whole everything is like, oh man, now it's like, I need to be cool with this guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
You get that a lot, especially when I did the pay. People, like there was this one guy, he hooked me up, man. He worked for Continental. I get you plane tickets anywhere you want to go. Like, that sounds nice, man, but I can't do it, man.
Hook me up.
Yeah, because if everything come down to it, I'm the one getting in trouble, not you.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't put it.
Oh wow, that's crazy, man. I know, like even like in Japan, when I went over there and they meet you, and one of the things is, are you African or American? I said American. They're like, oh, okay, American, cool. And no African, because they're very like distinctive. Mm-hmm. Like you said, if where you're from, it puts you. It's almost like a class situation too when you're in.
When I went to Japan, I had this young lady. She just wanted to rub my skin. Maybe see if it would come off or whatever. She had never met a Black person.
Isn't that crazy, man? Like how in other countries and over here, you're trying to, run around, I'm Black, this and that. You go other places, it's totally different, man. Totally different, So, yeah, man, it's always good to get out and travel. And I tell people, man, if you're not doing that, man, sign up for the military and at least go see the world. Get out your block because you are pretty biased living here in America thinking what you think a Black person is supposed to be.
Definitely.
There you have it. Big Herc and Bernard, military talk. Stop walking around with a crusty butt, smelly ball sack, and a funky hoo-ha. Big Herc said, wash that ass. Pick you up a t-shirt at freshoutseries.com.